If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, but also if you guys want to check me out on my social media, check out the links down in the description, and if you guys want to contribute to our next feature film, you can check out the links down there. Any help would be greatly appreciated, but with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm pretty sure we all have that one movie that sort of freaks us out or kind of terrifies us a little bit. I would say, I've had a handful of films throughout my life that's kind of affected me in that way. I would say like 90% of them, like, don't really affect me at all, and then like the other 9% maybe just kind of, affects me, not really. So that means I do got that 1%, that still kind of gets under my skin. But this is an exciting video to make because I've been wanting to make this for a while. Now, I was going to make a top 10 for this, but I just didn't really see the point because, to be fair, like my number 10, probably would have no effect on me now. But I wanted to talk about 5 films that actually terrified me or did so, and I'll explain how it did and what the aftermath was and the part of the movie that did. My number 5 might be a little bit laughable, but hear me out. But yeah, these are the 5 films that, and I've had, my number 1 is actually one that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I was going to do my whole separate video on it, but I feel like something like this would be a lot more fun. I know you guys really like the rankings and the top whatever they are, so yeah, I figured this would be a lot of fun. I'm excited to do this. So don't laugh at my number 5, but my top 5 films that terrified me. Now, my number 5, and this is going to sound weird, but it's Parasite. Now, I'm not talking about the whole film. I'm talking about one scene in particular, and it's the scene with the staircase where the guy's like, and then you hear that woman go like that freaked me out. It didn't freak me out at the time of watching it. It was more so just I watched it and I was like, "Dang, that was bizarre. That was scary." It was after, because I remember I think it was later that night I had to get up and pee, and I was like did not want to walk to the bathroom like in the dark because the way our bedroom is set up, well, when you, because it's in the basement, so when you flick like the light switch on, there's this big shroud of darkness there. So you have the bedroom, then you have this little hallway area that's not that big at all, just enough for a dark staircase up at the top, a little closet, and then a dark living room in front, and then you got the bathroom. So when you flick that light off, the staircase and the living room that are side by side, they kind of sort of just glow a little bit, but it's still completely dark up there. So it's a little bit freaky. But yeah, and I think I did that maybe twice. I think maybe for like 2 nights straight. It freaked me out. It did. It freaked me out. Not now, like, I mean, when I think about it, I'm just like, it's whatever. But yeah, that one little scene, and it was also very inspiring, to me, like, especially from a filmmaking standpoint. So it's just really cool how Bong Joon-ho is able to add just a random scary moment, and affect an audience like that, and it just worked really well. And it's pretty recent too, it happened pretty recently. So yeah, Parasite's number 5. I know that might sound crazy because other things that have scared me in films was like the hammer scene in Texas Chainsaw where he brings the hammer down. I remember when I was really little, that scared the crap out of me. Or the dead cats in Pet Sematary 2, or Pennywise, or Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, when they chopped that dude's fingers off. Those actually really did like affect me. But thinking about them now, they don't really affect me as much. But this, like, I mean, thinking of it recently, this was what freaked me out. That staircase scene really did do a number on me for a few days, and that's good because I don't get scared that often. I really don't. Like, I'm not even saying that to be like, oh, I'm hard, like, no, I don't get scared. I don't know what it is. It's very rare that I get scared. If I get scared, it's like real life stuff. It's not like, other things. But coming in at my number 4. And this was, I have no shame. The rest of these, I have no shame because these are ones that actually terrified me, and they would probably still scare me to this date. Number 4, we're talking about Insidious. This film, I seen this film. I don't think I seen it opening. Or I don't think I saw it opening night. I think I saw it like a week. I think it was like a week afterwards because I seen it in the 7th grade. And I remember because it was the first time that me and a bunch of my friends went to the movie theater together. And I remember it like it was yesterday. We had a lot of fun. We walked around the mall. It was just a fun time. It's like the first time I'd ever done something like this. So I remember us being in the theater watching this, and I had no expectations. I thought that this, because I was still a little cinephile when I was in the 7th grade. Like I was still, I'm not so much a critic now, obviously. Like I mean, but I was a little critic back then, and I just had no expectations for this film. I didn't think it was really going to be shit. Oh my gosh, that theater was wild. I remember the scene where the thing's pointing its finger in the shadow and then it comes up like that, and man, that was just an experience, and it terrified me, and I had such a hard time going to bed that night. And I remember us talking about it, and then I remember showing one of my other friends the movie, and it scared him, and like 3 viewings later, it still terrified me. Now, it doesn't. I watched it with my parents. I think it was for my mom or granny's birthday or something. I don't know why. I guess I was just picking out movies to watch, but yeah, it didn't really affect me at all. But at the time, this film scared me. And when I start thinking about the things that scared me in this film, they don't affect me now, but thinking about it, I can see why. I can see why, and I still believe, because this film did it different. This film done jump scares different, and I appreciated that. And if you have not seen this film, if you are one of the people that have not seen this film, check this film out and make sure you watch it alone and in the dark, because this film is absolutely terrifying. I remember too, I had watched other scary films. Like I remember, what was that one film? The Devil, Satan's Little Helper. I remember that movie kind of messed me up a little bit from a certain scene. And then Paranormal Entity, not Paranormal Activity, but Paranormal Entity. That film scared the shit out of me. And then what was the other one? Paranormal Activity. It was the growling scene where they're upstairs and you hear that thing downstairs go, like that. That terrified me a little bit. But no, Insidious though had a very big impact. Coming in at number 3. Now this one actually got under my skin. This film actually scared the dog shit out of me. I'm gonna cuss a little bit in this video because we're getting into the crazy territory. This movie absolutely freaking terrified me. And we're talking about the Japanese The Grudge, Ju-on. Now, the first, 3/4 of this film, I didn't think nothing of it. See, I'm kind of looking around a little bit. I didn't think anything of it. This film did not, I did not think this film was shit when I watched it. But that last 10 minutes, oh my gosh, the part where you hear that thing creaking down the staircase and it's got blood all over it and it pokes its head out and you hear that weird music go whoo, and that shit terrified the shit out. I remember watching it. Me and my wife was sitting there, and this was maybe a month ago. I mean, this is a month and a half ago. I remember seeing that and I was like, oh, whoa, and I had a hard time going to sleep. Thinking about it now, of course, it doesn't scare me. I go through phases with this stuff. But oh my gosh, at the time, I had not been that scared in a long ass time. A long ass time. I had a hard time getting up in the night. It freaked me out. Even just thinking about it a little bit. And it's just that one scene. If you notice, I'm not talking about the whole films here. Actually, we are getting into it now, but hang on. My wife is calling me. Let me answer this real quick. I do apologize. Hello? Hey, I'll give you a ring here soon. I'm making a video. All right, I love you. Mwah. All right, sweet. Anyway, but yeah, let's go ahead and get to the next 2. Now, these next 2 films, oddly enough, these are films that kind of affected me in a personal way. And the number 2 that I'm going to be talking about is actually it's affected my life pretty big. It's a low budget horror film. It's a little bit wacky. It's a little bit crazy. But it didn't necessarily terrify me in terms of a jump scare or anything like that. It was more so just, it had a big effect on my life. And I know that's going to sound crazy. And I don't like, talking about my professional thing, because I get people are here to hear me talk about films and stuff, which I'm sure you guys, obviously you guys are interested in what I'm doing outside, doing this and stuff. But this film just had a really big impact on me. It had a really, really big impact on me. The film that I'm talking about is Found, and it actually has a film that goes with it called Headless. Now, I've talked to the guy that wrote the book that this movie's based on. He's a really cool guy, but this film is pretty messed up. It's basically about a dude that chops the heads off of. Well, I mean, there's really no easy way to put this, but I think it in the book and in the movie, he chops the head off of I think it's black women and keeps it in a bowling bag. It might be black women and black men. I don't want to just like. I mean, either way, it's horrible. But yeah, that's how that goes. And then of course it gets crazier, and he's inspired to do this by this film that he watched called Headless about this dude that would, and then the heads he would do. Yeah. So I'm not going to get into that. But and I know you're like, well, how did that inspire you and stuff? And that's like, if which I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to. But if there's a film that I want to make, and it's like my magnum opus. It's the one that, like, if I only had one film to ever make in my life, I'd do it. And it's not a serial killer movie. It just involves a serial killer in the backdrop. That's all I'm going to say about it, because I'm not trying to do like some cliche horror movie. I want to do it differently. But the killer in this had a huge impact on how I pictured that person to be. And not only that, now we're going to get into sort of the person. Well, I mean, I was already getting personal with the filmmaking thing, but this film affected me personally because there's a scene in the film where he carves out these eyeballs and he eats them, and it like leaks out this white pus. The reason why is I used to drink these boost drinks, these little protein drinks, the vanilla ones that were white. This film made me, I could not drink those things. I could not drink those things whatsoever. I mean, because of the color, I still kind of can't. And yeah, the film affected me that bad. And also, like, I mean, even like I said, with the just the film that I want to make and the research that I've been doing on it, I would research serial killers for like 8 hours a day, to the point to where like it drove me insane, and I had to stop because it was like bringing me down. Like, you know, it was just. Oh man, I remember that time too. That was a dark time. I still study them, you know. Like, it's not like it completely messed me up and stuff. But when you listen to that stuff and you're doing like intense research, you know, and you're trying to create your own, like, you know, fictionally, narratively, then it kind of does take a toll on you. And this film had a lot to do with that. This film sort of inspired that whole little thing. It's a good film though. It really is. This is actually a really solid film. I actually enjoy this film a lot. It's different. It's a different horror film. And it's good. I mean, it's good. It's low budget. It's kind of messed up, but it's still, it's a solid film, and I'm going to quit talking about it now. But yeah, this one, it doesn't terrify me, but at the time it did bring up some really terrifying things, like, and it just kind of like, I don't know. It's weird because I don't like getting into personal stuff, I mean, all this stuff I'm saying, like, I mean, some people might not be like, oh, well, you know, whatever. But to me at the time, it was rough. It was pretty rough. And now we're getting in at my number one. Now, this was a film that I actually recently watched like 2 months ago, and it actually has a companion film to go with it. This film is a film that I wanted to talk about by itself. I'm not going to do that. I think it'd be better if I do it in this video. The film that I'm talking about, and its companion film that goes with it, because I didn't really want to review the companion film, because to be honest, I was pretty disappointed in the companion film. But the film that I'm talking about is Solo, the 120 Days of Sodom companion film. Pasolini, Willem Dafoe. If you don't know, Pasolini was the person that made this film. And I was not a big fan of that film. I didn't really care too much for it. Now, Solo, or the 120 Days of Sodom, is probably one of the worst films. I mean, it is the worst film that I've ever seen, and it was probably one of the hardest films that I've ever watched. This film didn't terrify me. It just more so, which I know that's the whole premise of the video, top 5 films that terrified me, but it did make me think a lot. And I know that this film has like poop eating and all that stuff, you know, like it's got all that nasty shit, but I do think that this is a very essential watch, whether you're a cinephile or not. The reason why is because I think this film, and I'm serious when I say this, it might sound crazy, but I think this film can really show off the dangers of being kidnapped. Seriously, I think that it can, because this film, any horrible thing that you can imagine happens in this film. but yet this film is in like my top 15 favorite films ever. And the reason why is because it affected me in just such a, oh man, like just thinking about it, it just affected me in such a big way. Yeah, it was just, man, just thinking. I remember after me and my wife got done watching this, I took a nap and I woke up and I still felt weird. And if you don't know what this film is about, it's about it's set in 1940s Italy during World War II, and it's about basically these four libertines. They take these these basically, I'm just gonna say it how it is, kids, teenagers, young adults. They take them back to their house, their big nice house, and they subject them to torture, things that involve I don't like to say certain things because I don't know what YouTube will do. But yeah, like I said, anything. I mean, you can kind of tell by the cover what happens. And the film just itself has no hope. It has no hope. It's absolutely the worst film that I've ever seen in my life in terms of how bad it is. It's not. It's a great film. It's well made. And if the director of this actually died, I think it was like 3 weeks later. They found him dead on a beach. This film is crazy. This film is crazy, but yet I would recommend this film to everybody. And in a weird way too, it's just like, especially if you're a parent, maybe, because I'm gonna be a parent in like 5 months, something like that, and it's a hard film. It really is. It really does show the dangers of kidnapping because you just don't know what this shit happens. Unfortunately, this stuff happens. So it's yeah, it's a rough watch, and thinking about it, yeah, this film does terrify me because I couldn't imagine having a loved one, go through what these group of people. I couldn't imagine anybody. It's rough. It's rough. And if it tells you anything, when the four libertines in this film are introduced in this film, like when you see them on the TV, I had this weird feeling in my gut because I seen it and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to see these people again. But yeah, guys, that is my top 5 films that terrified me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video was maybe a little bit of fun. Oh man, what a video! What a video! Talking about Solo, it just bringing back all that stuff. It's a rough film, and I don't say that. I'm not somebody for one, I'm not a sensitive person at all. Like, I mean, I'm just not. I'm just whatever. I'm just here, and then like, I don't get scared. I don't get terrified. A lot of stuff doesn't bother me, but Solo, and actually watching it in its entirety and seeing what the message was, that was a rough watch. That was a rough film. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. Please let me know in the comments below. Please let me know in the comments below, what are some really, really scary films that you've seen? Like, absolutely terrifying films. Because I want to know. Because I look for films like these because I love getting scared. I absolutely love getting scared. So please, when it comes to films, not in real life. But yeah, let me know because I'm interested, because I'd like to check some more out. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. Hope you guys are staying safe out there, and I'll see you guys next time.